remember, you are not strong, you're weak. You're weak.
Ryan.
Jesus loves this boy. This is Charles.
Wake him out of it. David. Wake up.
Rafa from RF Ghost Hunter spends most of his time delving through creepy abandoned buildings, but the one that we're about to show you even had him shaking in his boots. He and his partner had visited the location once the day before. An abandoned home plagued by a tragic past event that has become quite the local legend among the village. The pair didn't think it would be anything too terrifying, but they said that on their preliminary suite, they had to leave almost instantly due to sensing some real bad juju. Regardless, they were drawn back inside the next day, only to be met with the ruins of a once comfortable family home. As they moved around, they began to realise that their bad feelings the day before were way more than warranted.
Tá arranhando, tá arranhando.
Um espelho, cara, sei lá.
Aqui no espelho aqui, cara. Escuta. Galera, tá vendo aqui uma coisa arranhando, cara. Olha. A gente tá aqui assim.
Com um barulho desse espelhinho.
Alguma coisa arranhou ali, cara. Tá arranhando. Quem é você? Você tá querendo passar pro mundo dos vivos? Espelho serve de portal pro mundo espiritual.
Tô. Pô, parece que sai arranhando um vidro, um espelho, cara, sei lá.
Aqui no espelho aqui, cara. Escuta. Olha
aqui. A gente tá aqui assim. Um barulho desse espelhinho.
Alguma coisa arranhou ali, cara. Quem é você? Você tá querendo passar pro mundo dos vivos? Espelho serve de portal pro mundo espiritual.
The scratching especially unsettled them because it was coming from what sounds like the inside of that mirror. Mirrors are often seen as portals into the spirit world. Could something be trying to claw its way out to them? They barely had any time to think about that before something else made them jump out of their skin.
Você ouviu esses passos? Cara, acho que eu escutei passo ali. Alguém aí?
Gente.
The most horrifying thing here is that you can tell from the audio that the noise is 100% coming down those steps. But there's nothing there. So far we have something trying to bust out of the mirror, and something else marching down the stairs. Feeling a bit lost, the pair begin borderline begging for whoever their tormentor was to show themselves. Looks like it wanted to have a bit more fun with them though.
Se tiver alguma coisa aí, que dê um sinal pra gente. Olha ali, cara. Olha ali, caiu o bagulho, cara. Ó.
Galera, a gente um estalo pra cá, cara. Tá, pula.
Olha ali, caiu o bagulho, cara.
Lá.
Ó. O que você quer, cara? Fala alguma coisa. Olha lá, gente. O que você quer, cara? Fala alguma coisa. Olha lá, gente. Olha isso, gente. Olha isso. Não é brincadeira, gente. Brincadeira, gente. Meu, cara, olha isso. Você tá vendo isso? Não, cara, olha isso.
Filma bem de perto.
Olha isso, gente. Olha isso.
Olha lá, não tem nada ali.
Meu, cara, olha isso. Você tá vendo isso? Não, cara, olha isso. Não é brincadeira.
Filma bem de perto.
Olha isso, gente. Olha isso.
Olha lá, não tem nada ali.
Ó. Olha isso, gente. Olha. O bagulho não para de mexer. Olha. O bagulho não para de mexer.
Tá frio. Nossa,
isso,
galera.
Olha isso.
Ai, tá frio.
Escutaram isso?
Você viu isso?
Não, gente, olha isso. Agora o bagulho ficou tenso.
Peraí.
Olha isso aqui, gente.
Peraí.
Olha isso.
Caramba. Aranha subiu no meu dedo.
The porcelain could have been pulled around with some string off camera, or even just by someone gently shaking the floor. But where would they be hiding to pull off any fakery? The house is falling to bits as it is, let alone the clear damage that would be caused by someone going hell for leather on the floorboards. And there's nowhere for anyone to crouch away unseen in the room that they're in. And who closed the door? Looking for answers, they move to the cabinet and manage to find a key hidden under the flailing pot. It looks something like a car key, so the pair start wondering what it could possibly open. Can't be anything good if it's hidden like a point-and-click adventure game. In search of a keyhole, they make their way upstairs, only to hear something else that chilled them to the bone.
Ó.
Escuta. Tá escutando? Escutando a voz de criança. Vocês estão chorando? Ó. Tem que tomar cuidado aqui pra não cair lá embaixo, cara. Tá podre isso.
Ó. Do mesmo lugar, gente. Ó.
Escutando a voz de criança. Você está chorando?
Ó. Gente, tá tendo muito barulho.
The sound of a child crying echoes throughout the house.
Escuta.
Now, the audio sounds a bit too crisp, so it could have definitely been edited in post-production. But either way, one of them went off to investigate while the other hung back, presumably to change into some spare pants while his friend was gone. Obviously, the pair splitting up made the whole thing 10 times scarier, and it wasn't long before our lone soldier went looking for his friend. As he crept around the house, he kept trying to use his walkie-talkie to communicate with Rafa, but something kept cutting off their line of communication. Rafa gasps on the line that something touched his shoulder, so naturally his friend went to take a look, but it was then that the real games began.
Ele tá. Não, aqui é só o sótão, não tem nada, só tem telhado e janela. Por que tem janela no sótão? Ai! Ai! Putz, mano. Uma coisa tocou em mim aqui, cara. Rafa. Alguma coisa tocou em mim aqui.
The strange wheezing breath could have been from him, but it sounded so different from his gasp that came right after. So what could have happened? And the retching when he came down the stairs? What could have shaken him so badly? When he and Rafa met back up, his back was covered in grime, right where he said he felt like he was touched.
Aqui tava ardendo aqui, cara.
Oxi, tem uns bagulho preto nas costas aí, doido.
Que?
Tem uns bagulho preto aí, cara.
É? Tem nenhum arranhão nada aqui?
Ô, tem uma marca bem vermelha, cara. Deixa eu ver se eu consigo filmar aqui pra vocês verem. Que tá bem vermelha. Tá vendo? Tipo uma marca de mão ali, ó.
Eu senti um negócio aqui, doeu.
Olha isso, gente. Uma marca de mão. Tipo...
Sério?
Sim, mano.
What could this have been? Is it all circumstantial evidence and a bit of cowardice causing all the discomfort? Or is it something more sinister? Number 6. Peekaboo. Urban exploration is a pretty huge thing now. Everybody wants to get their hiking boots on and break into some old rusty doorways. But contrary to popular depiction, this niche doesn't always go hand in hand with paranormal footage. A lot of explorers are simply going in to see what pieces of history they can feast their eyes on. At least that is what this guy was doing when he walked into an abandoned laundromat inside a hospital. But his historic tour was made 10 times more terrifying when he watched the footage back once he got home and realised he might not have been the only one there.
Lo último. Ah, esto es una especie de baños. Mira, acá hay un... ¿Es la cámara séptica esta, no?
Esa es la cámara séptica, sí. Ten cuidado no caerte ahí.
No.
Porque seguramente esa tiene que tener peso.
Sí.
Did you see that? For a split second on the left-hand doorway, you can just about see the hands and head of a dark figure slipping back behind the wall. Obviously it wasn't immediately spotted, so the guy had no idea who or what he was sharing that space with. The weirdest thing about it is that the scary moment is not advertised at all in the description and barely any commenters seem to pick up on it. If you were going to fake a creepy video in an abandoned building, surely you wouldn't just throw in the scary moment as a blink or you'll miss it Easter egg, right? What do you think happened here?
Ah, esto es una especie de baños.
A poltergeist told me that you enjoy scary videos like this, but don't subscribe just yet. We'll earn your subscription by the end of this scary compilation. Number 5. Military precision. This mind-boggling footage was leaked from a US military installation. The team were deployed in a forested area and decided to start settling in for the night. While the rest snored away, 2 poor souls were left on lookout duty. As they tried to keep their drooping eyelids from sealing shut, they noticed something that shocked them straight out of their half-slumber. But it wasn't any kind of regular threat like an animal or some kind of gang, no. It was something much, much weirder than that. Take a look.
U.S. Army restricted area, you cannot be here.
The precise location in the video is still unknown, but presumably it was somewhere in the US. The video is somewhat short and has awful quality, but you can see a strange figure poking its head out of the tree line. It does seem a bit sus that the thing keeps just repeating the same exact movements without advancing or retreating in any way, but the military seems stumped enough to be on high alert. This kind of extraterrestrial looking being has been spotted before in a few other locations. Check out this video caught at around the same time as the American military by a dude and his dog on a snowmobile in the Canadian wilderness.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what's back here. Yeah. No. Jake. I don't know what he's barking at. I think he sees something back here. What are you barking at? Holy crap! Holy crap! Did you see that? No. Dude, holy crap, it's standing right on the left side. Holy.
That's either a pretty ugly ghost or an alien if we've ever seen one. The figure has a similar skin tone to a Caucasian human and huge cavernous eyes. Oh, and a massive head. Classic alien behaviour, really. The guy wasn't able to catch any more footage of the creature, so we have no idea if it was some kind of prank or a setup for both of these. Do you think that these clips could be proof that the alien invasion has already happened? Or is there something more logical that explains these clips? Number 4. Through the Fire and Flames. This video was sent in by one of our viewers, Sen Godratmund, via email. Thanks for the suggestion. He was itching for us to analyse a video he found on YouTube that had chilled him to the core. The clip in question was recorded during a sort of seance, conducted by a man who was attempting to use a bonfire to summon a specific presence. Take a look what happens as he sat crouched near the flames.
هیچ ایرادی نداره، همین که شما الان خودتون نشون دادی برای ما کفایت میکنه. اگر در توان ایرادی نداره، همین که شما الان خودتون نشون دادی برای ما کفایت میکنه. اگر در توان.
At first, we found this clip so impressive that we just had to keep going back and looking closer. But as we did that, we realised something wasn't quite right. So here's the deep analysis that you deserve. Firstly, if you slow the video down and go frame by frame, you can see that when the rock moves, the shadow is so delayed it's laughable. The guy's shadow is pretty sus as well. Right here, his shadow is moving, but he isn't. Look at his hands. Right here, he's also dropped himself in it. Take a look. Did you see that split second where the entire video footage moved? You probably removed a layer in editing and just wasn't able to cover it well enough and missed it when you uploaded. It might not be very obvious, but for eagle-eyed viewers or anyone who utilises the speed settings on their YouTube videos, it's actually pretty blatant. Hey, maybe poltergeists know their way around video editing software. Number 3. Liminal space. Abandoned hospital corridors will always remain one of the most unsettling places in the world, and with the rise of liminal spaces in mainstream media, almost everybody can begin to feel completely isolated under the eerie yellow lights. Which is why this person was shivering and recording their journey through a seemingly empty hospital. They didn't trust their surroundings, and they were right not to. Check out the footage they caught. Those machines are pretty damn heavy, so it would be quite the task to get something to be able to pull them around. String would snap with one pull, and fishing wire wouldn't give that amount of momentum. Anything with the strength to pull the things around would stick out on camera like a sore thumb. Someone could have pushed them the other way, but where would they be hiding? Hospitals have housed the last breaths of many. Could this be real footage of the spirits finally lashing out after being trapped? Number 2. Parking up. While checking through the CCTV cameras for a multi-storey car park, the security guards were left trembling limb from limb when they saw something horrifying on the video stream. No, they weren't watching a car with L plates trying to parallel park during rush hour, it was something much scarier. The camera quality could possibly be to blame here. Sometimes the video comes out a bit faded and glitchy, with people and objects not as clear as they could be. But why does the figure stay transparent for the whole video? And why is it darting in and out of the cars? It could be glitchy footage of a guy just trying to find his car, but the dark, slightly wispy quality to the silhouette has us thinking something more sinister was at play. Number 1. Final thoughts. This video comes from a street CCTV camera in Japan. The backstory is somewhat murky, but it claims to capture an unbelievable moment, just on the side of the road. There are many people who believe that the soul is a separate part of our consciousness and body, that it latches onto one vessel, and when that vessel takes its last breath, the soul detaches itself and roams the world free once more. The belief is somewhat similar to that of ghosts and ghouls, but with more of an emotional and spiritual twist. But it's the very thing that this video claims to have witnessed. Although it's a bit weird that souls miraculously come out with the same clothes on as the human. Perhaps the world of souls is a cosmopolitan place. Who knows?
Shiro had one thought. Were these the people who vanished back then? From the Baphomet-like apparition to the weird candle-flaked mannequin. It's like someone put every film from the Conjuring series into a blender. She says the words, "They took me," describing a dream where she was forced into a wedding. Who they are, she doesn't say, but whatever it is, it's still with her.